Can you hear me, Paul?
8 o'clock, I can hear everybody, and it's a beautiful. It's kind of getting a little hazy now. It was white and blue earlier. Morning here in Phoenix, Arizona, for the Network Marketing Insider number 248 by two cool IBOs, and this is Freedom Friday. Obviously, as you can see, the Hawaiian Shirt Day. And I want to say welcome to all the network marketers who are joining us here today, all the Swiss Gold Global members especially who are joining us here today, and all of you network marketers out there in whatever organization you're involved with, and especially those of you who are thinking about network marketing as a possible vehicle for you to make a change in your life. Because did you know that after you take out all the time that you spend sleeping and all the time you spend driving to work and all the time time you spend at work working and all the time you spend running around after work doing all those things that got to get done, that at the end of the day most people have like 1, maybe 2 hours to themselves to do the kind of things that they like to do? And even if they had more time, would they have the money? Well, we have found a way for you to own your life by starting a home-based business. That's so simple. Anyone can do it. It doesn't involve any selling, and the best part of all, it doesn't take very much of your time. So I don't suppose you might know anybody who'd be interested in something like that, would you? John, would you?
Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. As you can see, Paul, I'm behind the wheel of an automobile en route today, but I figured out this amazing technological thing called an app on the phone, which allows me to be on this Google Hangout with you remotely anywhere from my cell phone. So it's a pretty cool little feature. Haven't figured out how to put my tagline on the bottom, but in answer to your question, the 45-second presentation, would I happen to know somebody that's interested in having more time and more money? Well, I happen to know a lot of people that would be interested in that, present company included.
Yes.
So I see you entitled this surprise, surprise, surprise this morning. So I'm waiting for the surprise.
No, you're looking at the second one as surprise, surprise, surprise.
Oh,
This is get over the zero sum game. And what I mean by that is that, you know, a lot of people have this sort of comprehension of that, if you take money from here and it ends up over here, that somehow over here there's going to be left with some sort of a shortage. And that's not the case. Money replenishes itself. There's plenty of money out there. It's always moving and circulating. And if your money leaves from here and it comes over here, it's going to end up coming back over here, whatever it is. And this whole concept of this zero sum game, in that, hey, if I make this sale to this person, especially when somebody sees somebody that is in a situation where it doesn't appear that they have money to potentially be buying into your network marketing organization, somebody might get the whole idea of making the decision for them that they can't afford this, and maybe I should deliver some weak and puny sort of bailout kind of a close here just so I can get the heck out of here. um, Zig Ziglar tells a story about, this is obviously from some time ago, but tells a story of selling door-to-door pots and pans. And he goes to this family who, after entering the home and making his pitch about the pots and pans and hearing about the people's situation and everything like that, come to find out that these people have been saving money so that they can get indoor plumbing in the house. And so he delivers this, or I don't know if he or the salesman, whatever, delivers this weak bailout, close on, his pots and pans sale. And as he's making his way to try to get out of there, the people are like, "Hey, wait a second, where are you going? We really want the pots and pans." And it's like, they can get the indoor plumbing next year, but they've got to have the pots and pans now. And so, people will spend money on whatever they want, regardless of what situation that they're in. And if they, brings them, into a shorted situation. They don't have money now. Well, you know what? If they don't have money now, they're not going to have money next week. They're not going to have money the week after that. And it's not because of you and you selling them their pots and pans or your network marketing system or whatever it is. It's all because of them. And they're going to be in a situation where, they're not going to take and make the effort to understand and make the changes that they need to make in order to, have money at any point in time in the future. So you've got to get over this sort of mentality that might hold you back in making the close and getting the sale or the sign up or whatever. You've got to understand the power of what it is that you're offering. And if that person feels that there's value enough there for them to make the purchase, then they're going to make the purchase. All you have to do is help to guide them towards the idea of making them feel good about their purchase, that understanding the value in what they're getting, they'll feel good about it, they'll buy in, and they'll take it to wherever they want to go. So that's kind of where the whole zero-sum game that I was talking about, you as a sponsor, has to, don't make a decision for somebody else. You don't know what they're thinking. Your only position is to help guide them towards, understanding the value in what you have, and if they feel that there's the value there, that they can feel good about the purchase or the join up or whatever it is, that they're going to go ahead and do it.
That's awesome. That little story from Zig Ziglar. I'm just trying to place it because who doesn't have indoor plumbing nowadays?
Like I said, probably an old story.
However, it does remind me of a saying. Oh shoot! It's so difficult to drive and do the hangout at the same time. Was Zig Ziglar, the whole point of your story there, Paul, was that money is always flowing. It doesn't matter what people have or don't have at that time, but what they're ready to buy when the opportunity presents itself, I suppose. So that old saying that goes, people don't want to be sold, people want to buy. And a good salesman knows how to, I guess, close that sale without making that person feel pushed into it. And that kind of you reminded me of that when you told the story about the pots and pans, except that the salesman sort of sucked because he was ready to walk away and people are, whoa, wait, we still want the pots and pans. We can wait on the plumbing. Well, because people are always looking to buy when the opportunity presents itself. So if it's presented in the right way, people are going to want to buy from you. That's the same thing with network marketing.
Yeah, and like I said, the whole thing really comes down to the idea of, within ourselves, we're thinking for them and coming up with the idea, well, if I was in this situation and I didn't have indoor plumbing and some jackass was here trying to sell me pots and pans, why the hell would I be buying these pots and pans when I'm trying to get water in the house so I can, don't have to go 100 yards out to the outhouse every morning, in the freezing cold weather. You know what I mean? And making that decision for your prospect is not where you want to place you've got to take yourself out of the situation and not become queasy about, making the close. That's the thing is we get you get weak within yourself about making the close because you put yourself in their situation and you start to think for them, or you start to do the thinking for them and making the decision for them, and you don't know what they're thinking, and just like John said, people want to buy, and if they can feel good about the purchase, they're going to do it regardless of whether they got to go out, for another 6 months to go 100 yards out to the outhouse to do their morning constitutional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. This is a great topic because in network marketing, I believe a lot of people are scared to approach people with the opportunity because of the preconceived notion. But it's really your own preconceived notion that would hold you back from introducing it to somebody else. You don't know what somebody else is thinking. One of the biggest objections to network marketing is what, Paul? It's a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. And one of the biggest hurdles, and one of the first things that we teach when you get involved with our organization, is what network marketing is and what network marketing isn't. So you have the confidence when you're out there introducing the business model to prospects, you have the confidence to kind of pre-plan for their objections. And then when you understand and know what network marketing is and how powerful of a moneymaker it can be for you, you're going to be excited to share it. But I know this might be a little bit more from personal experience than a universal fear. But you mentioned fears before, Paul, in closing the deal. And do you think that maybe a lot of new network marketers are very reluctant and slow at first to begin introducing the product and the service because of that fear of the rejection of, oh, network marketing, it's that Ponzi scheme, it's that pyramid thing, and getting over that fear. And that also has to do with building self-confidence and your belief system and believing in your product and service too. Maybe that pot's
Looks like we might have lost John. He is driving, and we didn't have any picture on him there, so potentially he's lost his service wherever area he's gone into there. Yeah, like you were saying, maybe that maybe those pots and pans are of the utmost importance to these people because they got crappy pots and pans too. I don't know, whatever the case is. Another little concept here is, when you're in network marketing, you've got a product or service, and you're offering something of value to these people that can help them improve their life. What was my note on that here? Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway, the whole idea that what you're providing is something of value to them, and the whole idea about, oh, you're back. We dropped you there for a second.
Yep.
And now you're back. Now you're back with picture. You had no picture before either. So anyway, where I was going next here was kind of the fact that also too, everybody's got a there's a lot of dumb money out there, okay? And everybody's got something that they'll spend ridiculous amounts of money on because it's something of interest to them. I mean, it could be anything from cars to boats to pets to model airplanes, whatever the case might be. Everybody's got a something, at least one. Some people have multiples that they're just going to spend ridiculous amounts of money on. Some people are clean freaks, some people are health freaks, and whatever the case is, they're going to spend ridiculous amounts of money on. And if your product or service happens to hit the target in that area, happens to hit the mark, it's something that really is of interest to somebody, they're going to spend lots and lots of money on that product and service, and or your product or your service or whatever it is, just because they have an interest in it. And so being able to sort of identify if they have an interest in your product and service, even though it looks like they don't have any money, if they're interested in that I don't know, whatever it would be, that product, service, that sort of category or whatever of stuff, it doesn't matter if it looks like they don't have any money. They will buy because it's of huge interest to them, and they'll spend stupid money on something. Even they might have a whole closet full of whatever it is that you're selling under another brand name, but they'll buy yours because they want to compare, because this is what they're all into, you know?
Absolutely. Now, Paul, am I back on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Hello?
there. Yeah, you're there.
Right. You know, there's another book out there called The Four Agreements that this conversation reminds me of. If I wasn't driving, I could probably rattle off all four agreements for you right now. But one of those is that you never assume anything. And that's kind of what we're talking about here too, Paul, is you never assume what the what the buyer may or may not do, or may or may not be interested. You should never assume that. If you're going to assume anything, they say assume the sale. Assume that they are interested rather than assuming that they may not be. But it reminds me of the four agreements in this conversation of what we're talking about, because we're talking about getting over fear to like introduce your service and product. And I think one of the fears is because of our own assumptions. So learning not to make assumptions is kind of a key piece of the success in network marketing. And just to relate all this into why we're bringing up why we're sharing these examples.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really kind of where, you know, that I was going to wrap this whole thing back around into is just what you said there. The sort of not the fear of what the other person is thinking. In reality, it's the fear of what you're thinking. You know, is what what you see. Now that's a big thing for us. Is if we can't see it, we can't believe it, kind of a situation. But if we do see it, you know, we have a tendency to believe our own preconceived notions or our own, you know, thoughts and how we would feel from that side of the table. And that's not a bad thing to understand that, but you have to also just completely overlook it and say, well, that's just me. Those are my opinions. That's what I would think. I don't know what this person's opinions are. I don't know what this person thinks. So I'm just going to, as John said, assume the sale, progress forward. And at the end of my presentation here, they're either going to be interested or they're not. And that's all it comes down to. And if they're not, hey, no big deal. It's not for you. This is not, an area of interest for you. This is not a product or a service that you would, get excited about using. So I'll just move on to the next person who might be. Okay. And so.
I'm sorry, Paul. Like I said, I'm driving, so I'm partially distracted. I really apologize for this today.
Yeah, well, we don't want you running into anybody, so it's understandable.
Yeah, right?
Hey, I don't know about you, but
I'm actually going to pull up the sign here.
I can't do two things at once. Driving and talking on the phone is one of the things that I can do. Doing a hangout's another thing, because that's doing three things at once. I have to actually drive, I actually have to listen and comprehend, and then have thoughts that I can speak about. So that's doing three things. That's really getting tough.
Plus, when I'm doing these hangouts, I'm so used to being able to look at you, and for some reason, maybe it's the cell phone, all I have is your picture of you holding a whole bunch of cash, which is a cool picture, because that's what we want, right, people? More money, more time. And in order to get more money and more time, if we're working a full-time job, we're going to have to look for other avenues. Network marketing is one. We've got 2 minutes here left, Paul, so I'm going to toss it back to you. But my final thoughts here about this conversation today is that this is a really good thing to be aware of, is what your own fears are when it comes to introducing the opportunity to people, and think about where your assumptions come from. When you assume something about a situation or assume something about another person, is that not just a reflection of your own thoughts? So getting out of the habit of assumption, because everybody makes assumptions. That's why we have so many sayings like "Don't judge a book by its cover," or assuming makes an ass of you and me, is because it's one of these habits that most people are in, and we've got to become aware that that's what's going on in our mind, these fears. We got to be aware of that, and we got to be aware of where our assumptions are coming from. And if there is one thing you're going to assume when you introduce the opportunity, be proud of it, be confident in it, have a strong belief system in whatever it is you're going to be sharing with others. And if there's one thing you're going to assume when you're meeting with a prospect, assume the sale, assume the best case scenario, and assume that what you have has a lot of value, and that'll help you to get over that fear that we all have when it comes to selling or sharing something, especially when we're new.
Yep, exactly. And not to let all of those things right there to be able to, be the warrior and step up and just put all of those things aside, disregard everything that you see, think, believe, feel, whatever, that you're gleaning out of the situation from your own thought processes, and just proceed forward with your close. And there you go. Proceed with the close. That's what this is all about. Get over the zero-sum game. Don't think that you're taking from one place and leaving a void. It's going to be replenished. Do not get queasy about your close. That's the big thing right there. Stay strong with your program, with your process, and like John says, assume the sale. And with that, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Everybody have a great Freedom Friday. Enjoy your 2-day celebration. We'll see you back here on New Op Day, obviously, where we'll get back into the Own Your Life plan and the, outline for successful network marketing. Everybody have a great time. Bye.